But Jessica and I, we do work together. We
Okay.
work
I don't know.
with the homeless population in the school district setting.
I never knew that was a thing.
Nobody does.
Call me green, but I never knew that homelessness amongst kids was a thing. I guess I just never thought about it. I just always think when you think of homeless, you think of, that old drunk man, or unfortunately, that's the stereotype, but that's what you think of. I
Well,
didn't know kids could be
nobody
homeless.
thinks of it like that. Nobody thinks of, so we work with, and we work with families and youth. And so when you think of the bigger picture, when people say homeless and they say homeless youth, if I say, and I work at a school and I say I work with homeless youth, you automatically think, because I'm associated with a school, that I'm talking about little kids. And so that's what happens
Okay.
when you say homeless youth in a bigger setting. But in reality, homeless youth in a bigger setting is usually ages 16 to 24, and mostly concentrated on 18 to 24. When you look at all the data that's represented by HUD and SAMHSA and different organizations that do data on unhoused or homeless families or youth, the youth is ages 16 to 24. And then when you think about it even further, it's really closer to 18 to 24, because a lot of 16-year-olds aren't reporting that they're homeless.
So they actually have to report that they're homeless in order for y'all to know, I guess, obviously. Yeah. No.
So there's shelters and there's places for homeless youth to be. But if you're 16 and you don't have an adult, it can be difficult. Not impossible, but it can be difficult, because the shelter is going to say, well, where's your parents? We need them to sign these documents
Mm,
that you can be here when you're 16.
okay, y'all blowing my mind right now. All right, hey, we're back on episode 4. Yeah,
Episode
we in
4.
there. Episode 4, we in there. We in there. I appreciate everybody watching and supporting, and it goes deep. The love goes real deep. Um, Me and the co-host Nisha, we brought on a special guest today, and today
Yes.
we are talking about Nisha. Go ahead.
Social services. That sounds like what? What? We going from that to this? But no, we are. I think we should talk about social service because it's a real thing. So we brought in my good friend Jessica Smith, who is so gracious enough to meet with us. I kind of forced her.
And how do you know her?
So, okay.
Okay,
This
wait.
is-
Professionally, how do you know her?
So professionally, we work together.
Okay.
Professionally, we work together. We do the same thing at work. Now,
Okay.
we want to talk about socially. I don't know. We friends, and I couldn't tell you how we became friends. We've been friends for maybe 4, 5, 6 years, maybe, but we don't
Really?
we can't really pinpoint when we became friends.
No, we cannot.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that.
No, we legit have tried to sit down. Okay.
I
When
seen
did
you
it
at the bar that one time. There was at IHOP, and I waved. That wasn't it?
So, like, at my previous job, I used to see her when she was a drug counselor. I used to see her.
Okay.
So
All
when
kind of
I
hats.
saw her, I felt like we already knew each other, right? But we knew we had mutual friends.
Okay.
But we don't know if that was the point where we became, like, I don't know. We really don't know.
I felt that. I was talking to my uncle about you today, and I was like, yeah, you, because I had mentioned, Peppermint Nursery, and he was like, oh, Peppermint Nursery. I was like, yeah. I mean, I was like 4 or 5. I remember her, but I really don't. Let's just be honest. I really don't. But I know when I had seen her in middle school, I was like, dang, she looked familiar. I don't know. All right. And then later on in life, it was like, wait, that's that girl with the little ruffled socks. I know her.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I remember. Okay, yeah.
We all had them.
Well, I mean,
we all had ruffles.
The good kids that, okay, I digress.
But yes, we brought in Jessica Smith today. We're just going to talk a little bit about, life and what we do in our profession. And, folks may want to know, may not want to know, but we're going to see.
We're going to see.
We're going to see.
I want to know personally
Okay,
because I'm like, hold up. Call me green. So I must admit, I'm one of them ones. So when it comes to what y'all do, I'm super ignorant to the whole topic. So
okay.
I may play the devil's advocate. Don't laugh at me because my questions are real. I have no script, and so I really genuinely want to know.
So I don't think
There's
we'll
that.
laugh at you, but if I do giggle or chuckle, it doesn't come from a negative place. Just know that.
And it
Oh, of
might be
course, I got it.
we already heard 3 to 4 times. We'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
Okay. Well, Jessica, it's all on you. Thank you again for joining us. How long have you been doing what you do? What exactly do you do, and what's your title?
I am a licensed LMSW, so a licensed master social worker. This is my 7th or 8th school year. I get a little confused because usually with the school district, like you work for a school for 7 years, but it's your 8th school year, something like that. So I think that's what it
Right.
is, something to that effect. Um, so I am the McKinney Vento coordinator for the district I work in. Um,
Thank
um,
you.
you're welcome.
I
Before
see you.
that, I've been in social services since I was about, what I say in a professional or professional way, since I was about 24. I'm just a
So
smidgen
now
older.
you, I was about to say, now you want to tell us how old you are. You age
Just a
dropping and stuff.
smidgen older. Just a smidgen older than 24. Just a
Okay, just a
smidge.
smidget. 8 years plus 24. I'm not mathing. I was just saying that, yeah, you
Well,
still a baby.
I
Okay.
was I became
Yeah,
a
she's
substance
still a
abuse
baby.
counselor when I was about 23.
Wow.
She going backwards.
And so it's been about 20 years since I worked in social services. Before then, I worked at the health department,
Wow.
so you can count that. But in a professional manner, in a professional way, I started as a substance abuse counselor when I was about 24. So I worked with addicts for about 10 years. In the middle of there, I stopped and finished my BSW and my MSW. Um,
Black girl, I see you.
Black
Come
girl.
on. Right.
it
Come
was
on.
the most difficult thing I think I've probably ever done besides birthing a child.
Wow.
It was really difficult to go back to school and to be a whole adult.
Mm,
So I was like 31 ish when I went back.
okay.
I stopped working for two
That's
years.
dope.
Wow.
I stopped working for 2 years to finish school. Just lived on my savings. Um, it
Look
was
at God. Come on, savings. What?
but
Who
God,
can live off their savings for 2 years? If I can make it 2 days, I'll be all
but
right.
but
Come
God,
on now.
but
But
God.
God.
I can't
But
even
but
I
God.
can't even stress how much my faith grew in those 2 years that I didn't work, because I had to solely depend on God and what He could do in my life, and I didn't do it by myself. I had amazing people in my life who helped me do it, um, but my faith was everything, because I told a few people, I know you think you got that money because you got it, but God knew where I was going to be and knew I was going to have to ask you for it.
Well,
Uh,
well.
Jehovah
You better
Jireh,
say that.
He
Say
provided.
that. Say that. Yeah.
But it was when I went back to school, it was something that I had to do and that I needed to do to reach the goals that I wanted. When I was 16, I decided I wanted to be like the social worker at my high school.
I was just about to ask.
What?
Yeah.
What was your inspiration?
As you said, you wanted to be like you, the social worker that was at your high school.
Yeah, Miss Carolyn Jones.
What high school was it?
Wait, I love her.
You love
Wait, hold
Yeah,
up,
her.
hold up.
I don't
Wait, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wait, you went to Sumner?
99. Yes.
Why I
You
didn't
didn't.
know that.
Honestly, you didn't know
Wait,
that.
I was there.
You
Wait.
were.
What
You
year
were
did you
there.
actually
8th grade.
graduate?
I actually graduated in 99. I actually finished
How
it on
the
now.
heck did I not know
Y'all were
you
in the
then?
same school at the same time.
I was quiet-ish.
You were in 8th grade, Kamisha.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Calm down. I excuse me. Calm down. I was that one eighth grader that knew all the seniors, and then as a
Except
senior, I knew
Kamisha.
all the eighth graders and everybody in between. So I'm trying to figure out why I didn't know you. I mean, I could go down the list, but remind you, I told you I'm trying to omit names. We'll talk
Right.
about it
We'll
after the
talk about
show.
that later. We can talk
Put a
about
pin
it
in it.
Yeah, after
later.
the show. But I didn't know that you was an alum. That's what's up. That I knew it
Absolutely.
was something right here. Okay. Sorry,
Don't
Wildcat.
it's fine.
Sorry about
It's
that.
Oh yeah, I've
It's
done
a
it.
saber
Have
thing.
yellow
It's a
Sumner.
saber thing. You wouldn't understand. But go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Oh my gosh, that's so
But she
awesome.
wanted
So
to be
she's
like her
your
school
inspiration.
social worker, school counselor,
So so
school
So
let me
counselor,
ask you,
social worker.
did Miss Carolyn Jones look like you?
absolutely. It makes all the difference.
What does that mean? Like y'all both
It,
wore glasses? Like what you mean?
Ah, okay.
black girl magic. She's a black.
Oh, oh, okay.
She was also the social worker.
Okay.
She knew my mom. She knew my whole family. She was a social worker when my mom went to Sumner also. But she just made me feel, because my father died when I was 12. And when I was in middle school, there was a group for kids whose parents had passed, which, how sad.
Really?
Yeah, how
Right.
sad. But when I got to Sumner, a couple of my friends, their parents had passed. And so I was in the peer support. I was a peer support person. And we started a group for people whose parents had passed. And
Wow,
Miss
that's
Jones
dope.
allowed us to do that and allowed us to be in this space that was safe and I could talk to her. I mean, I was 16 going crazy, didn't know, nothing. And thought I knew everything and I needed somebody to talk to. And so
I didn't
you
mean
thought
it.
Here we
I
go.
didn't
Here we
nothing.
go.
I didn't mean
Um,
it. I didn't mean it.
and so Miss Jones was just a safe place. And I remember thinking, I really would love to make a kid feel like that. I really would love to make a kid feel safe like that. And I'm sorry, my child just walked up here. Yeah. And so I really just remember wanting to make a kid feel like that. So I always wanted to be a social worker when I was 16, from when I was 16 on up. And then I got to college and I was like, ooh,
You ain't
I
like the
got to
classes?
stay here.
Oh, okay.
I got to stay here for 4 years to get that degree.
Oh yeah, I thought it was like something extra, like a doctor, like 6, 7, 8, 10.
No, I gotta stay here that long. No, never mind, never mind. But I still want to help people. And I very specifically also wanted to help children of addicts. And so when I was at KCCCCCC,
Okay. For
You
those who don't
forgot to
know,
see.
Kansas City, Kansas Community College.
You forgot to see.
I forgot to see. I thought I had.
How irritating.
Yeah.
And so there was this thing where I could be a substance abuse counselor and so on. Then I stopped and all the life. I thought being an adult was
Yeah.
more important than school. And then I got this position when I was about 23 as an administrative assistant at a substance abuse place. And my boss at the time was like, "Hey, how much longer do you have before you can, be credentialed?" And I was like, "I don't know, like a class, I just got to do a an internship." He was like, "Well, go ahead and do that." And so I did. And I think I started there in April. I went back to school in August. I was credentialed to a substance abuse counselor by January of that year.
Okay, amen.
And it was, being a counselor was um, extremely difficult. And I had to grow up real quick because I was 24. I was still kicking it.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember going to the club.
Come on,
And
story.
all right. Here comes the story.
going
Listen
to
up.
the hood, and at this point I'm still real a baby counselor. And I remember seeing somebody, because I did a lot of stuff with DUIs at the time, and I remember seeing somebody turn around with 2 crowns and Coke in their hand. And I had just seen them in a DUI class, and they had just told me how they were sober and how they weren't going to do this, that, and the third. And my whole little heart broke into pieces. Oh my God, you lied to me?
You're right.
I could not fathom. Like, I was just beside myself with
how dare you?
Yeah, how dare you
Right.
lie to me? Like,
Right.
And I believed you.
I
And I
believed
believed you.
And so I think at that point my skin got a little bit tougher, because I'm certainly warm and fuzzy, but my skin began to get tougher at that point. And I began to realize how difficult this is going to be in the community I grew up in.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, because everybody know everybody in Kansas
Well,
City
and
is
I
that
grew
small.
up. I didn't grow up. I grew up off of 7th Street. I
You
grew
was
up,
in the belly.
yeah.
In the belly of the beast.
I grew up, and it was. I mean, there's so many different stories. about how I know every trial and every tribulation that I went through definitely shaped me to be the counselor that I was. And my old boss, his name is Doug.
Yeah.
I couldn't have been who I was. He's still mad at me to this day that I don't do that, that I'm not a counselor anymore. But I couldn't have done it without him. And it was because I remember having to explain to the counselors who didn't look like me that it was okay that this older Black man called me baby girl because it's a term of endearment, not sexualized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I remember having to have a conversation with a man who came in who had 4 swastikas all over his body.
Mm.
I was
Mm.
the only Black counselor, and they assigned him to me. Why, Jesus? I
Mm.
mean, like, what are we doing here? And me and
Yeah.
him had a
That makes sense.
conversation. And he went came in my office. I said, "No, baby, leave that door open."
Right.
And he came to my office, and we had a conversation about these swastikas. He said I was in prison for quite some time, and I had to choose.
Mm.
And he said, in more of our conversations, he told me of a story of how he had a second grade teacher that was a Black woman that humiliated him. And
Mm.
that's
Mm.
what was planted. And we forget how you can plant those seeds in people and they grow up to be hate.
Right.
And that's what
Mm.
happened. And he was one of my favorite clients by the end of it.
Look at
And when he
God.
had to come back, he
Yeah.
came back and he was a big old man. When he had to come back because he relapsed, he said, "Where Jessica?"
Oh.
And I didn't
I
hug my
don't
male
want to talk to nobody else.
clients. I don't hug my male clients, but he gave me the biggest hug and he said, "I'm so sorry I disappointed you."
Oh.
And so, yes, I mean,
I'm here for it.
I loved every piece of what I did. I loved um when people would come in and they say, "You don't know nothing about me. I grew up off of 7th and Quindero."
We neighbors though. You in my neighborhood. You know my mama. You know
So
my big
I
mama.
would go into the office and I'd be like, "Go and shut that door." And I would say some choice words so you would know that I grew up and I know where I know your
Right.
people probably.
Right.
Sir,
Well.
ma'am.
Right.
And so it was different and I learned so much. And I remember when I was going to school for it, one of my professors was like, "You just got to help one person. If
Mm.
you help one person, that's all you need to do." And I've helped my one. I think I helped more than one, but I know I helped one. And
Yeah.
she's still sober. I went to her year celebration when my son was in my stomach, and my son's 15, and she celebrate 17 years. She'll celebrate 17 years of sobriety in April.
Wow.
I helped my one. Now I helped a few others on the line, but I helped my one.
Yeah. Makes it
I
all
helped,
worth
Okay.
it.
and
It
she's still
does.
sober. And yeah, so I did that for a while. Then I went back. I went back to school. Um, and I came back to substance abuse for a little bit as a supervisor at the same company for outpatient. And a
That's
girl
dope.
came in, and I just looked at her. I didn't know who she was. And she was like, "Miss Jessica, you don't remember me?" I said, "No, baby." And I usually remember people. And she told me her name. I said, "Well, what happened?"
Mm.
She said, "Oh, I got hit by a truck."
Just casually, just said
I
no,
like I
no
stubbed my
big deal.
toe, but I
Yeah,
got
no big deal.
Because she was trying to steal and ran out of the store. And she had been sober
Oh,
for a while, but she wasn't sober anymore. And her addiction had destroyed her life so much. I didn't recognize her not one bit.
wow.
I went to my office and cried and updated my resume and
Mm.
applied for this job.
Mm.
mm. That was one of my next questions. How do you?
Go from that to
I mean, no, not necessarily that, but as far as like not becoming emotionally attached, like you know what I mean. Like when you care about what you care about what you do. You
for
know what I
sure.
mean? Like I tell everybody, I would video your whatever for free. Then I'd be like, oh wait, yeah, I'm a business. Give me like
Right.
$20. Give me
Yeah.
$20. I mean, but
You just enjoy
because
doing it.
I love what I do so much, I forgot that capitalism is a thing, and that's the part that I'm supposed to be chasing. So I say that, like, how do you still keep going after all these years? And those are heartbreaking
I
stories.
don't
Those are
know.
good stuff.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, that's real. I like it.
So I wholeheartedly. So when Doug, I'll probably mention Doug a lot because that's I just him and Miss Jones are just wonderful.
Are
And I
your
say
wise. They're your wise. I
Yeah.
get
yeah.
it.
For
I
sure.
still talk to him all the time. But Doug used to tell me when I first became a counselor, he said, on Fridays, make sure you take the long way home.
Mm.
And he said, and drive long way home. Don't take the highway. Go slow and leave everything at the office.
Reflect. Yeah.
And pick it back up on Sunday. He said, because if I tell you to pick it back up on Monday, I know I'm lying. So go and pick it back up. And I think that working in this field, when you work in the helping field, regardless of what that looks like to you, there's no way you can do anything that we do and 100% leave it on your desk.
For sure.
There's one person I work with, I'm not saying no names, thinks she leave it on her desk, but she don't.
I never said I do. I just said I have good boundaries.
But
she didn't even say no names. Oh, so she's talking about you.
She pointed at me. She pointed
How
at
you
me.
know it wasn't to me though?
Because that's not what you do.
There's
I do. I
No,
just
you
don't got a
don't.
title for it.
Right. And you don't
genealogy is a real thing. That's
no, it is
real.
for sure. For sure.
I
But
do that. I
definitely
just
talk
ain't got
about
no
me.
title for it.
Because I say I have good boundaries.
Okay,
But
I'll calm down.
And you do have good boundaries, but I think there's no way we can do this without carrying
Taking
some
it
of it
home
with you.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes my boundaries are not as healthy as they should be. They're way better than they were when I first started in the helping field. But there are times when I have high anxiety and I cannot sleep because I know I didn't finish something, or because what we do affects people's lives.
Yeah.
It's not like
that's dope.
If for some reason I do have a donation bucket where I can place a family in a hotel, if that's something that can happen, but I forgot to call the hotel and make sure they had a bed so the family could check in at 3 on Saturday.
Yeah.
And so on Saturday I'm running around. I can't go back to the building. I can't do what I need to do. I'm running around like a crazy person, scared, nervous, because what if this family slept in their car? Like, I literally just affected their entire lives.
Yeah. That's real. That's real.
And then there's been times, most recently, there was a difficult situation at work, and I had never, ever in the whole time I've worked where I work, dealt with the family in this manner. And at the time, I was good. I was strong. I kept my composure. I didn't do anything wrong, but I went back to my desk and cried. Because I was so upset for so many reasons. I didn't do anything wrong, but this family thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so their needs weren't met. Well, and we couldn't meet them because they were too angry at the time, but their needs weren't met at the time. And then they work with other community organizations. So what are they going to tell this organization about us? Like, did we not help them? Because reputation means everything when you work in social services.
Yeah.
And it was upsetting. It was extremely upsetting. And that had never happened at this job. That had never happened. And it wasn't just because, somebody yelled at me. I can take that. I mean, when I was a drug counselor, I got called out my name so often.
Yeah.
It was what it was. I had to tell one girl, I'm going to still get my paycheck whether you think I'm a B or not. Anywho.
Hey, it'd be like that. It'd be like that.
But it's just when you are doing the work that affects somebody's life.
Yeah.
It's difficult, and I don't think that you can ever have 100% boundaries, because then if we do, are we really in our job and doing a good job?
Right.
You need to have healthy. Like, I have a team of, it's me and 2 other people, and before it used to just be me. So on my wonderful team, I have black and white healthy boundaries. Then I have somebody who's all gray, just mushy, unhealthy boundaries. And I'm in the middle. And so it works out really well.
Love it.
Super grateful for the team that I have and the work that we do. And the fact that I have help, they'd be like, how'd you do this by yourself? Y'all, I don't know.
Because, geez. I mean, we do a lot, Go ahead.
So you went straight from drug to what you do now? You do McKinney-Vento? I'd be butchering the name. Did I say that right? Okay.
Did.
I was scared.
Yeah, I went straight from being an addiction counselor to this. And when I first started this position, I said, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I want to work with addicts. Never mind.
Okay, I was gonna say that's an extreme switch where you're now. Is it fair to say most addicts were adult age ish?
I only worked with adults. So for about this
Okay.
long,
Okay.
for that
And now
long,
you
I went
jump
to
ship to move to kids,
well,
or
so I worked with adolescents for about that long when I was a drug counselor.
you got to make sure you
It's
show
different.
the. Okay.
It's different.
Okay.
I couldn't, especially because I'm a mama. I couldn't
Mama
work
Bear
with
came out.
because your mama
Yeah.
did what to you? Where's she, girl? Where's she at? Where?
We from 7th Street, and I know who she ain't with. Hold up.
Cigarette, babe. She coming to visit you at 2?
I'm not playing with you. If you don't put your earring on, I'm not playing with you.
Yeah.
So I didn't work with adolescents. And then my mouth wasn't set up quite right once I got to the district because I was used to adults and it was cussing and it was, the bureaucracy was set up different.
Yeah.
The bureaucracy
I could see that.
It was I remember when I was a counselor, I had a group of 12 and like 9 of them had dropped dirty.
Yeah.
And I went into group and I wrote on the board all these different drugs, PCP, marijuana, cocaine, all the stuff. And I held out my marker and I said, come circle what you dirty for. And they all looked at me.
You ain't gonna put me on the spot. Hold up.
One of them said, y'all, she must know. And I'd be daggone if all of them didn't come up and circle something. But all of them wasn't dirty.
They was like, oh, shoot.
That you detected.
Let me just.
I said,
my guilty conscience.
Yeah, that's what happened. And but the conversation I had with them 12 people that day is not something I could do at my current position. It's not a conversation that we could have. It's not something. I remember when I first started, this girl came in and she had about 9 o'clock in the morning smelled of alcohol, and I began to talk about detox. Like, you want to call
that's
detox?
your other job.
Yeah, that's what I got told, baby. That's not what you do no more. You can't say that to people. I was like, oh. But that might be why she homeless.
Right.
At your new job.
Late.
Yeah.
But I was like, told I can't, that wasn't my job no more. And so it was
that's hard.
It was
that
hard
transition and keeping the boundaries of, okay, I can say this, but I can't say that. But we all in the same field.
Yeah, it was hard, but it was also, I don't work with adolescents. And that's where people get confused. I work with the families.
Okay.
I still do not work with children. It was never at first, like when I did want to be like Miss Jones when I grew up, I did want to go into a building. But when I first came into the district, there were no social workers in our buildings as general education social workers. The only social workers that existed, there were no more Miss Jones. There were counselors, and counselors are LPCs or licensed professional counselors. They are not social workers. There are 2 different degrees. And so they were bad social workers. So that was the only LMSW that was in the district, unless they were doing something else, but they weren't social workers. They were not general education social workers until the next year. And then they came in and their job was to focus on behavioral health, so mental health basically. But when I applied for this job, I just wanted to be in the school district in some capacity. So no, I had no idea what McKinney-Vento was.
I was just about to ask, so did you ever heard of that?
I had a Google.
Did you ever heard of that?
Did you ever heard of that?
I went to Sumner. I went to Sumner.
You just gonna breeze past that sentence. No, but I didn't know what it was, girl. I Googled it. I must have did good in the interview.
I must have.
Hey.
But it was but I think when you have a passion to help people and you want to work in the helping field, that shines through. Your passion shines through.
Oh, for sure.
And I just wanted to help people, and it was different because it was so funny. I remember somebody saying in the interview, because my caseload when I was a substance abuse counselor was like 30 people. And they were like, yeah, we got like 1,000 kids that are homeless. And I was like, oh, okay, I can handle it. But also the 1,000 kids that are homeless were not being case managed in the way that you do when you work in substance abuse. And so it's just a little different. It was a difficult first year because also nobody did the job. One person did the job before me and they left. So who supposed to train me? Who supposed to tell me?
Start from scratch.
It's YOLO. You just kind of
Yeah.
figure it out. We trust you. That's why we hired you. Go ahead.
Right.
And that's pretty much at the time. My supervisor was an amazing. She's my third. I got 3 reasons. She's my third. Her.
Okay. Reasons to believe.
They were
Huh.
Little plug. Little plug.
Right. Well,
well. They
you know.
they were at the ceremony too. I have an amazing picture.
Oh.
But
Stupid.
yeah, they're great. But
That's dope.
she was an amazing leader and she helped me grow and allowed me to grow. I think that's one of the biggest things and one of the things that I think I
Can you
struggled
say that again and like rewind it, like to allow you to
allow me
to what?
to grow. Allow me
Mm.
to grow. I think that as leaders, we often have an idea, and then we want to tell you how to get to. This is where I want you to. This is where this is the end game, and this is how you're going to get there. And I really try now that I have a team. I really try to tell the team, hey, this is what I need. This is the ending goal. How you get there is up to you because I can't tell because I don't know. We haven't done this before. I haven't done this before.
Yeah.
I struggle delegating. But I mean, they said I'm doing all right. We gonna see, but they still there.
I love it. I love it. That's the type of boss I like that part where it's not like micromanagement. It's like, okay, this is this is what I need. Yeah,
because I mean, we really now when a lot of people think about their career. I'm just a little bit older than 40, and we're at that point in our lives where it's time to kind of solidify some stuff professionally, especially. And I feel like I'm good where I'm at. I don't want to leave where I'm at. I want to grow the program that I have. I feel like,
come on. The kids need you.
I feel like
families need you.
You work in a school district, you often people don't realize how many things the federal government say you have to do. Like you have to have a McKinney liaison. I'm sorry. I'm also the foster care liaison. I be forgetting that part. You have
casually.
Yeah, sorry, throw that in there.
Wait. So what is that? Enlighten me because I'm okay. I know what foster care is. Like my mama took in boys. That's as much as I know about foster care. But as it relates to school systems and the districts,
so foster care students, it used to be that foster care students would fall under the McKinney-Vento guidelines because they were unhoused, they were homeless. However, that's
by
not
default.
Yeah. But that's not the case anymore. They're no longer considered McKinney-Vento. However, they have the same rights as a McKinney-Vento student. So if a kid is a foster student in Olathe and they go to Olathe High School, but then they have to come down here and live in Avery's Village, which is a group home. In KCK. Then they should be allowed to continue to go to school in Olathe with the district and the foster care agency splitting the cost of that transportation. They have the right to their school of origin. Our whole job is to make sure that kids are not shooken up due to the decisions of the adults.
Oh, that makes sense. So like I had foster brothers, but they lived with us for maybe like a school year. But then they subsequently went to a whole new school. So a lot of kids in the foster system, they keep going school to school because of that reason.
And they don't have to. And that's the purpose.
They don't?
No.
That's the purpose. If especially because of where we are, the greater metropolitan area, I would especially, and then you have kids who parents, they're going to get better. They're going to get them back. They're going to be okay. So why make them switch schools? If we don't have to, if they're in the greater metropolitan area, which does include Missouri, McKinney-Vento provides transportation and so should foster care from anywhere in the metropolitan area, period.
So is McKinney-Vento new?
No, it's been around since the early 2000s.
Okay.
So I like to tell people, like, because I explained, yeah, I work with the homeless population or whatever. They were like, with the school district? I'm like, yeah. They were like, what? I'm like, okay, so our main job is to make sure students can stay at their school of origin or their home school, regardless of their living situation. So, yes.
Dumb question, kind of maybe.
Not
How
dumb.
do they stay at their home school if they don't have a home?
So their school of origin. So let's say there's a sixth grader, right? Let's say there's a sixth
Okay.
grader. Let's call
Okay.
let's call him Johnny, because that's the universal
Okay.
name we use,
I
right?
love Johnny.
Right.
Johnny's cute.
So
I
like
love him.
little Johnny's in sixth grade, right? So
Mhm.
let's say little Johnny's parents, something happens, they lose their permanent housing, and now they got to go stay with Johnny's grandma. But Johnny's grandma
Okay.
stay in Lenexa, right?
Okay.
Little Johnny, they live in KCK, right?
Okay.
So, but they're staying at grandma's house, who live in Lenexa temporarily. He can stay at his home school in KCK for the whole school
Okay.
year because of McKinney-Vento. We don't want to disrupt. Yes. Yes.
Okay, wait. So if he gotta stay with his grandparents in Lenexa, who's responsible for the transportation? Wouldn't he just go? I mean, would it? Oh,
Go ahead.
No. So that's our whole thing, because we may have families that move 3, 4, 5 times.
Right.
So they can't.
Okay.
It's not fair for that kid to have to transfer school 3, 4, 5 times.
Right.
Academically,
Right.
they'll do horribly, and socially, they'll do
Oh
horribly.
yeah.
So
Correct.
the McKinney-Vento law is written that says an unhoused family that qualifies under the McKinney-Vento guidelines and is defined as homeless under McKinney-Vento, not HUD. We'll get back to that. Put a pin in it. But
Pin in it. Ding.
Ding.
Okay, there you go. Ding.
That's a pin. I'm surprised you didn't have a thing that actually did a pin. That'd be cute.
I
Anywho,
got you. I got you. I got you. I got you.
and so where see, I can't. I squirrel. Don't do
See,
that.
Right.
you thinking about that dadgum pen. No,
Right.
no, that's about the logistics of the
Right.
transportation. So black people, we're not going to tell you that our address changed. Do we have to tell you that now we
Yes.
living with Johnny's grandparents?
You should, so Johnny doesn't have to switch schools. We don't want Johnny to keep switching
But
schools.
we're not switching schools. We're just going to keep using that same address.
You can.
And you can, brown people. And what happens, brown and black people, is that you do that, and then you get to a point where your car broke down, you ain't got no gas, get little Johnny to school, and now you cussing
That was too much.
Cussing out truancy because they calling you because little Johnny ain't in school, when little brown and black people that don't trust the system that's set up in a way to help you in this particular manner, because y'all don't trust us, which is not your fault.
Right.
It's not your fault you don't trust us.
I didn't even know McKinney-Vento existed. Quit yelling at me. I didn't know.
And that's why people gonna watch this podcast and be like, "What, girl?
Right.
Come to my organization."
Because
I was role playing. I was
life
playing.
happens. You know,
I was
but
being the
for real,
voice.
life happens.
Okay.
A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck, so you just one check away from losing your place, and you got to go stay with somebody else. So if that does happen, because we understand life happens, reach out to whatever school district you in, and reach out to the McKinney-Vento person so they can at minimum help with transportation if you're outside of your school's boundaries.
So is there like a capacity limit though?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we already have 50 families. We can't help 51.
50.
Oh,
we have. I mean, hold on. I got my.
You play.
Let me see.
So
we have right now. I have 331 families on our spreadsheet.
Like in just one district?
Yes, one district.
And that's families. That is not students.
But because that's families, because some families have like 5 kids, or they have.
Correct.
Okay, so what else? I mean, if I'm gonna tell you my real address, what benefits do I get from McKinney-Vento? Like, why should I tell you that I'm leaving?
Care about them academically. I'm sorry.
I mean, do I get like some more food? Like, do I get something extra?
So I mean, I'm glad you asked that. So one thing we need people to realize is we work for a school district. So our priority is to make sure the kids can go to school at their same school. Okay, we're not required to do anything else.
Okay,
but we can make sure your kid stays at that school so they can graduate ultimately, so they're not interrupted academically.
Well, so I
Because
like
getting
what y'all
your
saying, but
child
I'm going to get my
from
kid to
Lenexa,
a different school because it's closer to me.
And that's
How
fine.
long does it take? How long does it take for
But look,
McKinney-Vento
look
to kick
here,
in with
mean
the
little
vehicle?
person. So this is the thing. It's gonna
I'm
take.
just
It can
saying.
take up to 5 days for us to get that transportation set up. It may not take that long. It probably won't take that long. It can take up to 5 days. I can excuse your student from school so they don't have truancy on them for those 5 days. Now you have the right as a McKinney-Vento family to enroll that baby in Lenexa.
right,
If that's where you at. I still want you to do McKinney-Vento and Lenexa because of the resources that we have outside of our job.
right,
Okay.
My job is to make sure your child stays in school. That's my job.
right,
That's what I'm gonna do. That's what
So,
my people gonna do.
right,
But after that, I work with this organization that also can help your family with things like first month's rent and deposit once you successfully complete their program. And they only will take a referral from us. You
right.
cannot be in their
okay.
program if you don't have a referral from us. And also, oh, you said it's November. You can't do Christmas for your babies. Let me help you with that because this year we have 620 kids.
Right.
You
How
don't have
you help? You give
children?
it like a $50 gift card, a $10, like what?
Baby,
Oh, they
no.
I mean,
oh,
I'm just
No,
trying to see
ma'am.
because
No,
that
ma'am.
that
We have
school
one,
district ain't never did nothing for me. I'm just saying.
but you ain't never told them you needed nothing.
I don't want y'all to have my real address.
That's your fault. Closed mouths don't get
Okay,
fed.
so what do y'all do for Christmas? What kind of incentives do I get?
so we have to say
So,
holiday.
yeah, we have to say
Holiday.
holiday.
I'm
For
sorry. I'm
holiday
sorry.
celebration, you come in,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you got 10 kids. Or
Okay.
and you fill out this wish list of what your 10 kids want. So we have one organization, one law office that adopts 75 of our babies for holiday. When they adopt
Oh,
75 of our babies, each kid will have a huge trash bag full of goodies, full of all the things on their list. And they will also each have a bag of snacks. So, depending on, because we just added snacks onto the wish list. So, whatever, if they said they like Takis and Mike and Ike, they're going to have a bag full of Takis, Mike and Ike. And
aw,
it had a hygiene bag in there this year too with
Yeah, they
toothpaste.
did. Yeah.
And that's
okay.
just 75 kids. And so we have one organization that does 75 kids. We have another organization that does give gift cards. The gift cards are $125 per person in the family. We have
Okay.
another organization. This girl brought in so many bags. I didn't even know what to do. This one lady bought 10 bikes. She had two families.
Oh.
Like I was
Yeah.
so sick of bikes. I mean, praise God.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not,
Amen. Amen. Amen.
yeah, it's not a little feat. We have I have 4 organizations that adopt children and they tell me how many kids they want. And then we have another large organization. I get on top of the McKinney-Vento families, we also get 2 families per building. We have a lot of buildings. We're a big district. So this year we got about
Wow.
9 families from the buildings. And so
Right.
this one
Wow.
organization adopted all 89 of those families, and that was something like 308 students.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And
yeah.
That's something like a big deal. So I need to quit acting crazy out here.
I mean,
But how is
And
this even advertised? And then
also,
wait. I gotta go back to that other customer though. So do y'all talk to each other? Like, how is y'all communication? So say I was in KCK and then I was with y'all McKinney-Vento. Like, do y'all talk to Lenexa's McKinney-Vento? Will y'all represent me on my behalf?
mhm.
Or I need to call and check up and make sure y'all
So,
called each
so
other?
you have to. So I will not. So if you tell me, so if you were saying like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and go to Lenexa, I'm going to say, this is the person you need to contact. This is their information. I'm going to shoot them an email and let them know you're coming. So
yeah.
I will do that. Now, if there's an issue and I need to advocate for you, sure will, because what they not going to do is tell you that they ain't going to follow the law.
Right.
That's what they
Okay.
not going to do. Oh, you need to file a
Oh yeah.
grievance in that other
Yeah.
district? Let me show you how.
Right.
Okay.
What they not
Okay.
going to do is mistreat you because you need to follow under these guidelines. No,
Right.
ma'am. No, sir.
Yeah.
Let me help you
Okay.
file this grievance. Here, let me tell you who you need to call at the state level. I already talked to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and we also around prom time we take our students and take them prom shopping.
Really?
Yes, and we help pay for our McKinney-Vento students cap and gown. So like it's things that we do for our families.
And also under the
Is this
law, under the law, if you are unaccompanied youth, which is very specific, we haven't even touched bases on unaccompanied youth, but per law,
Mhm.
if you're unaccompanied youth, that means you can't fill out a FAFSA because you don't know where your mama and daddy at. So we can write them a
Oh,
letter,
I didn't think of that.
independent, so they can file their FAFSA.
Wow, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Wait, so how are y'all advertised? Like,
We not.
I've
Don't tell
never.
everybody. Why are you telling everybody? No, I'm just playing. So part of it
I
was
mean,
the
I have
reality.
never heard of it
People don't
until
know.
my niece
But you
my
can
niece
go
was
ask
on
the
it.
teacher and they'll be like, what is McKinney-Vento? So don't feel no type of way.
Yeah.
Part of it is just that it's just school districts are huge.
Yeah.
They are, yeah.
Huge. They usually have like 3,000 staff. And the buildings
Mm.
run like little cities. And so it's very difficult. You know how if you work for a large company, like when I was a substance abuse counselor, we had to watch the sexual harassment video,
The videos
Yeah,
you gotta watch.
yeah.
that's
The videos you watch at orientation,
right. And you
right? Everybody watch it.
gotta watch them every
Right.
year. So
They
my
need to
little
update their
Facebook,
videos. But go ahead.
my
So
little
there's a McKinney Vento section with Jessica on there, but don't nobody watch the videos. They hit play and go on about their day.
yeah. Because and that's the thing, and I don't feel no type of way about it. I feel some type of way. So what we've done and what we've recognized is that people don't know, and the reality of it is I am not in the building. Now I have staff that go into buildings, but they only go into the high schools, and teachers have these big, huge, ginormous hearts. And so when a family's like, oh my God, my house burned down, I'm in a hotel, the teachers are running around like, oh, okay, what size underwear does little Johnny wear? What size? I have this in my house, and they're doing all these things, and it's like, hey, hey, hello,
Right.
let me
We're
let
here.
me help.
We can
Let me help. And parents will say,
Okay.
well, I'm okay because the insurance is going to pay to repair the house. Yeah, but how long are you going to be in that hotel though? Let me help you get little Johnny back to school, because even though you have a car, that's one less thing you have to be concerned about. Let me help you get little Johnny to school. You need before and after school care. Let me hook you up with what we have in our district already for before and after school care.
So so y'all pay for hotel stay?
So, no.
Oh.
We're not getting that out there.
Oh,
not putting that out there. No, we do not.
Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Okay, that is how rumors get started.
Okay. We don't give away houses.
We don't.
Yeah, don't?
No, we don't. We don't have
People
houses.
legit
but
think
if we homeless, y'all not giving us a house?
I ain't giving you a house. I'm
No.
gonna give you some resources though on how to get you a house.
Yes.
But those lists be so long. I don't want to wait for Catholic charities.
They ain't got nothing to do with me. But I don't talk like that to families.
We don't. No, we don't.
The hotel thing is resource and donation bound.
Right.
So it depends on what resources we have available.
What is available?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
first come, first serve.
It's just what we got. It's
Yeah.
just like, okay, so and so did call me this week and said they have hotel money. So if you come this week,
maybe
this organization said they got money, so I'm gonna spend. I can, it really depends. We have partnered with organizations. There has been nonprofits who gave us a lump sum that said, "Hey, spend this on hotels." That was done. I mean, it just really depends on what is available. Our job is to make sure they can go to school. Yeah. Our job is to make sure that
strictly educational-ish.
I mean, we work for a school district, we're not
our job is to make sure that them being unhoused and homeless does not create any barriers to their education.
That makes sense. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. That's
well, we have a lot of resources, we have resources out there.
And so, I mean, you could come up to me and you could tell me that you applied for McKinney-Vento and we got you all squared away, and your baby sitting over there in the corner looking sad. And I say, "Why your baby looking sad?" You say, "It's their birthday, and we ain't got no presents." We might come back upstairs with a bag full of presents, of toys.
Okay.
We might have a whole room full of toys. You don't know. I might have a bike. I definitely got socks.
You sick of bikes, but you might have one that you sick of. Got it. Got it.
I might have a snowsuit for a 5-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have hygiene stuff.
It's strictly up to the actual individual teachers and schools to let the families know, since they are kind of closer to the families, to let them know that y'all exist.
Yes. So social workers, so we talk to social workers all the time. Social workers know McKinney-Vento exists. because there are
But
gen
I
ed
don't
social.
want social workers in my business.
And so this is the thing. Again, brown and black people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just telling you the truth of what it was like in real life because
Right.
these are real things. These are real
We
things.
understand the stigma. We understand, social workers.
So I'm letting you know that I don't want y'all in my
Well,
business.
and this is the thing. But most of the time, so we don't. Social workers, it is very helpful when people look like you.
It does, but if they don't, I'm not talking to them.
That's not always true. It is
I'm not.
helpful if people look like you, but it's also helpful if people understand what you are going through, whether they look like you or not. So
Yes,
it's not
that's true.
always the case of
Hear that.
whether you look, because we work with someone who don't look like near one of us, nor any of the students she worked with, kind of at all.
At all.
That's fair.
At all.
That's fair.
But she does an amazing job, and every child that I know she talks to trusts her probably with their life.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Part of the reason is not just because of the wonderful job she does, it's also the wonderful job that her colleagues who do look like the kids do.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So if I look like you, but I cannot give you the service that you need, then I'm going to take you over here to this person who may not look like you, but because you trust me, I'm going to tell you, you can trust them. So it depends on the machine that you're working with within a school district. Yes, it does help if I look like you, but it doesn't have to be that way. But
it don't.
That's one reason why it's important for us to get into the buildings and to let the teachers know, because I am very well aware that the cafeteria lady might be the only person you trust. Might be the only person you trust. And when I go speak to nutritional services, I say that, and I make sure they understand we value you.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Because
that makes sense.
That you are the one who paid attention to giving little Johnny an extra banana and apple every day.
Right.
I like that. That makes sense.
You're the bus driver. You're the driver, the bus aide that paid attention to that parent who looked like they living in a car.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so it's just about, and again, I did this by myself for a long time. And so it is about me teaching myself how to say things to families and making sure that you say, I want to help you. Being homeless is not child neglect. My job is not to call DCF. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. Being homeless.
I was going to say, because
It's not neglect.
It's not neglect.
Nope.
Because as Nisha said earlier, you one paycheck away, most of us.
Yeah.
Being homeless is not child neglect. Now, not taking some of the help that's offered. And that's the thing, we have to get out of brown and black people's minds that you can't tell anybody, don't go to school telling my business.
That part. Well, I mean, that's what we grew up as. Like, if you repeat the fact that I'm hungry because we didn't eat dinner last night, they gonna think that I'm not feeding you. I mean, you not, but you know what I mean? Like, I can't tell nobody that I'm not eating.
So, and we have to get out of the toxicity. The way just because you grew up in trauma, don't mean you got to pass that trauma on to your students, onto your kids. We grew up in, I had I grew up, in the hood, but my mama is the bomb. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she raised amazing kids. My sister is doctor.
Okay, doctor.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
doctor.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. I'm done with this master's. We're good. But she had a PhD.
Let's make it clear. I understand.
Come on, PhD at 31.
Yeah, she had her PhD. She's wonderful. My mother raised wonderful, wonderful, wonderful kids despite. So we need to let our babies know that, and parents, we have to do better. Yeah. We have, and I mean, of course, we still, I'm a mama. Boy, don't go to school telling all our business, but if you feel like I'm hurting you, go tell somebody. But I mean, it's a thin line, did not their kid
it is.
I mean, if your kid pops out with a manual, let me know. But it's a thin line, you know what I'm saying? But we have to get away from that stereotype of don't go to school telling them people all my business. Them people might be able to help you.
They might.
But what if they can't? I think it's more of an embarrassment factor. You know what I mean? Don't tell my business because I don't want them to know I ain't got no wash machine or we washing our clothes in the bathtub or you know what I mean? We ain't got no hot water.
But a lot of times people can help, and people know people who can help. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's the thing. It's like we have to get out of this mindset that we are here to do this by ourselves. You're not.
Right.
You're not here to do this by yourself. You're not here to survive by yourself. You need to be out here living life. And so many of our families is out here just barely surviving because they don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah.
And especially in this day and age after COVID, what happened was so many families
Mm,
that didn't used to know need help now
Mhm.
are needing help. They don't even
yes.
ask. They don't even know
Yes.
services out here. And then we have the people on the other end of the spectrum that know all the services and getting all the stuff and shouldn't
Yeah.
be.
Right. And shouldn't. Hello.
And so it's
Well,
just, I don't have an answer, but I do know that we as brown and black people have to lift that stigma that we can't ask folks for nothing, that we can't ask for help. We live in, I mean, I do it myself. I've set up my life, and again, glory be, okay? Because I
amen.
didn't do
Amen.
this by myself, but my life is set up in a way where I don't need a lot of help. But
Amen.
emotionally, like financially, I'm good. But
That part.
emotionally, I don't know how to ask for help.
Is that our segue into mental health matters? Go ahead, Nisha.
But I mean, for real though, like we didn't grow up asking for help. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know what mental health was for
Just
real.
pray about it.
Just
Just pray
pray
about
about
it.
it. That's what we was
Just
told.
pray
Just
Yeah.
pray
about
about it. Just pray about it.
Yeah. Just
That's
pray.
not an
it.
answer.
And the
No.
thing is, what does our lovely friend say?
Oh
I,
yeah.
and I go to therapy. I pray and I
Uh-huh.
go. Look.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I see a therapist.
And I
You
see a
know,
Amen.
therapist. Yeah. I pray and I see a therapist. Yeah.
because all
Because
of it.
it's
Because
okay. It was not okay.
it
Yeah.
ain't none of that Bible that said I can't talk to somebody too.
Yeah.
Again, I think that's that fear of being judged,
Mhm.
the fear of people not understanding, that topic of depression,
Yeah.
even though it shouldn't be a quote,
It shouldn't.
but it's one of those. If I tell you, hey, Jess, I'm feeling a little depressed, and it's like, I personally, I don't claim depression, so it's not that, but there are days where I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna just sit down and I'll try again tomorrow, so that's a real thing.
Well,
But
I
We
mean,
grew up where we didn't talk about depression. We didn't talk
that's
about
not that's
like,
not a thing.
because
That's
listen,
black
that's
folks,
just not a
what
thing.
we
we
was
But
didn't.
I'm not gonna tell you, because in my mind it could be wrong, it could be right. In my mind, I'm supposed to be okay. I'm
Mhm.
Well,
Kamisha, the producer, with
Right.
10 businesses. I never have an off day. What is that?
well,
No, that
and
makes me less than human.
I think the thing is that for me, um, when I began to have suffer from depression, I didn't grow up in a churchy house, so it wasn't never that part. But when I began to feel it, and I can just speak for me,
Mhm.
um, there wasn't a lot of people back then, 20 years ago that looked like us that was to help us.
Right.
And it still goes
Mhm.
back to that looking like
Yeah.
because we were taught you don't trust them.
Right.
Exactly. I'm not telling y'all my business.
We were
Right.
taught that. And so because there weren't many people in our field in that field that looked like us, then that made it that much more difficult to
Mm.
try to seek help. And then
Mm.
when you tell the older people, they're looking like what? Whether they're religious or not, it doesn't matter. They was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I remember needing help and being very sad. I'm sorry. And
No, you
feeling
good.
like there was nobody I could talk to, and feeling like there was nobody, and it wasn't even talk to, that I could trust
Mm.
Mm.
to
That
be that
trust part.
vulnerable around.
Yeah, I'm
Because it's
vulnerable. I'm not about
like,
to be vulnerable with you.
look, because let me tell you something. I'm strong.
That part.
I'm good at adulting.
Yeah.
I learned when I was very young to hide
Mm.
Mm.
in a room
Yeah.
full of people.
Mm.
Yeah. You
Oof.
just mask it. You put on the mask and you.
There are few people in my life that can look at me and tell you that I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
Few,
Mm-hmm.
few.
Mm-hmm.
I built that mask when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
and I progressed that mask, and that
Yeah.
mask is a wonderful situation,
Man.
and can't
Until it
nobody.
ain't.
And right, and then because what I did was when I built that wall up in that mask, and I was like, well, I'm protecting me, you know
Right.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm
Yeah.
gonna protect me. But what I did was I didn't build a door or a window,
Mm.
so I
Ah, dang.
myself all the way in here, and then I had a baby
Suffocating.
to come in here with me. But don't nobody else get to come in here with me. I can't let you in.
Mm.
Mm.
This is to protect us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just recently began to um let people in and say, well, yeah, I suffer from depression from time to time. And what I've done with that is when I have a really bad day, I had a really bad day one day, and I called a really good friend of mine, and I said, I'm not having a good day. And it was right after I had helped a really good friend of mine.
Mm.
It was right after I had went to somebody's house at the drop of a dime because they were having a bad day. I drove
That part.
away and cried, and I called someone else and said,
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me. I need to go to the doctor. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I
And
think the. Go ahead. No. No.
I think that just being vulnerable like that, and the thing is, it's not even, it's that I had somebody to call. And I think
Yes.
that's what we need
Yes.
to do as a
Amen. Yeah.
people, to be like, friend,
Yeah.
it's okay. You can call me.
No.
You can
No.
call me.
Yeah, but people say that, but when it come down to it and you really feeling sad, I mean, can I really call you at 3 o'clock in the
Yep.
morning when I'm
Yes, you
actually
can
sad?
me.
And I feel like you have to know who's in your friend group. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you know, people, that's the default for some people, you know. Yeah, hit me up whenever I'm available, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
But you have
yeah,
to
yeah.
know who in your friend
Who
group
really mean it?
who really mean that, you know, because everybody don't mean it. It just sound good. But you
And I
have to
think
Yeah.
really know who you can trust, who you can be vulnerable with. That way you can get that off, because don't nobody need to walk around with all
Yeah,
that.
but so here's the biggest thing. I always tell everybody I ain't got no friends because I probably can count on like 5
Because you don't
friends,
stop
but
disrespecting me like that.
I am, I am, I am, I
you
am, I
know that
am.
he's the
That's why
five.
I'm a quit. I don't really have. I probably got more than 5. I mean, I feel like it'd be like Facebook birthdays. I realize, dang, people really do care about me. Anyway, I digress. I'm saying that I think if I told you, or if I told a person or whatever, hey, I suffer from depression, maybe that's a turnoff. Maybe you don't want to be my friend because oh, she loopy. Oh,
Well,
she ain't right. You
you
know
don't
what I
need
mean?
them as a friend. No, I don't know what you mean. You don't need
Oh,
them as a friend.
oh.
No,
You made
I mean,
friends.
I
no.
just, I mean, I just feel like that's why
That's how
people
you
may
feel.
not,
Yeah.
not me, Kamisha necessarily all the time. I'm just saying that of. So
Well, and
focus. You
Real
just look
friends.
so confused. She looks so
yeah,
confused. I'm so
she has,
sorry. I'm just saying
it's
why
something
people
her.
in general,
Well, I think that's
people
when it
in general
comes.
may be
You're
scared
speaking
to
in
just
general.
talk
I know.
about.
People in
Yeah, I mean,
general.
just scared to open up like that because I don't want you to think I'm off my rockers if I say I'm not good
Real
all the
friends
time.
shouldn't think that, but I understand what you're saying.
But
Yeah,
I
but
think
broken people can't understand other broken people. You know what I mean? So if they're too
no,
broke to
that's
understand
not
your
so true. You're
brokenness,
broken, and I understand broken people really great.
okay.
Because I mean, a lot of people have a lot of resources and a lot of things to say for that for other people. They just can't do it for themselves. Like I know a
Amen.
lot of
Amen.
people like that.
Amen.
You know, so can give
Amen.
you the
Amen.
best advice, like the best
The
legit
marriage
advice.
counselor that needs marriage
They
counseling.
can't. They don't have
Yeah,
it for themselves. Like
I
it's a lot of people out there like that. I wouldn't.
that makes sense. That makes
will attack.
sense.
But I think
I'm just saying.
I'm just
as,
like,
but I also think as a people, then we also need to like at some point we have a responsibility to each other to be like, yeah, Kamisha, I'm gonna be there for you. And then even though you ain't called me, I'm gonna randomly call you and be like, hey friend, I was just checking on you, because
yeah,
if I consistently do that when you do need me, because it's like when you in the addiction world, when somebody's in sobriety and they get a
yeah,
sponsor in AA, the first 90 days or something like that, you're supposed to call your sponsor every day. And my clients used to be like, well, why I have to do that if I don't need them? Because that makes it that much easier when you do need them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to call them every
okay,
day.
It's not awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
So when I do need it, it's like, oh well, or I know that I talk to you every day, and so it just becomes normal You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And so that's the thing. Like, we also need to have responsibility in our friendships to be intentional, because we're not.
Mm,
You to be intentional with your friends, to text
yeah,
your friends. I randomly text a friend of mine, and I have a lot of people in my life, but I only have a few in my circle, in my inner circle. But
that's
there's
dope.
people that I genuinely care about that I never talk to. I text a friend of mine the other
Yeah,
day. I said, "Hey, girl, I don't want nothing. I just wanted to say hey, and I love you. I hope everything's good."
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's me.
And she was like, "Oh, hey Jay, yeah, we good." And we chatted via text for a little bit, and that was that. And it wasn't even there was you crossed my mind, and I think we need to be more
That part.
intentional. Like,
That part.
I miss you, so I just thought I'd call you and be like, "Hey, what's up?" We don't have to hang out. I know life is life for a
Right.
lot of
Yeah,
us,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I just wanted you to know that you crossed my mind, and I love you.
Yeah, I think it's important that we do that when we think about it, because I know a lot of folks, I'm gonna say me, for example, I am really bad at reaching out to people. I'm really bad at well, first of all, I don't like to talk on the phone anyway. So if I talk to you on the phone,
Yeah.
feel special, because
Thank you.
I don't like to talk on the phone. But I'm really bad at like reaching out to folks. Oh, computer about to die. I'm really bad at reaching out to folks, but I need to do it while I'm thinking, because I think about people all the time. Like, I wonder how they doing. I wonder how
Yeah,
they doing. But
yeah,
I don't. I should just text them when I'm thinking that, right? But I
yeah.
don't. But all my
I
friends,
literally do that.
I'm legit. So when I do finally reach out, they know it. We can talk, not talk for months, but they
Yeah,
know it's
yeah.
gonna be the same as soon as we pick it back up.
Don't
I'm
let your computer die because I'm gonna be real mad.
right. Grab my choice.
We
Boom.
heard commercial break. Boom! I
Woo!
heard the ding. I heard the ding. I heard the ding.
That mug said low battery,
It
9%.
said that it like
Oh
that.
no, it didn't
Okay.
say it.
Okay.
She
It
didn't
didn't.
say that.
Okay. You was the voice of reason. All right, and we're back from commercial break. I think that's a really good point. The other day I was at my mom's job, and she was talking about how I was in elementary school and my principal knew my name, but like my grandfather would come and get me. He never knew my name. So he'd be like, "I'm coming to get baby hot." And the principal would come out and be like, "Oh, he's here to get Kamisha." And
Baby
so
hot.
that's why I don't tell you nothing. I'm gonna edit that part out.
Okay.
My grandfather coined me that. I don't think he actually knew my name ever.
Come
Anyway,
on, baby
focus on
hot.
the
Come on.
story.
Come on, baby hot. Go ahead.
She was talking about this. Won't tell you nothing. She was talking about the principal, and so I'm friends with my principal, and I text her. I was like, "Hey, just thinking of you,"
Yeah.
and that was that. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, that meant so much." And I was explaining to my mom that I needed to text her because my mama was talking. I was like, "Hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm texting her. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay, now we can talk." And then
Yeah.
I was explaining to her, like, okay, it's important. If someone crosses your mind, it
Yeah.
takes nothing but 3 seconds just to shoot out a text.
Yeah.
You may not even respond if they respond back, but hey, at least I did and do the
Yeah.
initiation. I let you know I was thinking of you. Boom.
Yeah.
If it turns into a conversation for a little bit, then
Yeah.
it is what it is. But
Yeah.
that's that.
And
Um,
like I said earlier, I'm so bad at that. And I really want to say, I really want to work on it. I truly want to work on it, but I just don't know if I
yeah.
will, because it's not that I don't
Yeah,
want to.
yeah,
It's just, I just don't do it while I'm in the moment.
yeah,
Because I think
yeah.
about my people all the time.
It's fair. It's fair.
I know I'm bad at
I
it.
mean,
But it
so
comes
I
from
mean,
because I have a good heart.
so piggybacking off of that, Jess, can I call you Jess? I just keep calling you Jess. I mean, I don't know if other people call you Jess, but I just call you Jess. Some people don't like nicknames. I just thought I would ask.
Jessica
You were
R.
just saying that reaching out to people, or like when you were having a bad day, yet and still you were in helping mode, and then it changed or whatnot, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that kind of goes back to what I always say. I'm a helper. I will give you my shirt off my back if you need it. I'll buy me another one. I don't know how, but I'm gonna buy me another one. I'm that dude. But I always say I spend 95% of my time, just my 24-hour day every day, pouring into other people. But I don't really have those people that are poured back into me. So I often find myself pouring from an empty cup, which can't necessarily, you can't pour a glass of Kool-Aid if it ain't no more Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? So what type of advice, or I mean, do you have anything to that? Can you relate to that? Like, I mean, any one of you? I
My
I
cup is
struggle with that, like pouring from an empty cup.
my cup is empty often. So this person that I work with, who shall remain nameless,
Nameless. Got it.
will come up to me and be like, "What you need? Give us a list of everything you need." It's very
Did
aggressive.
they say it aggressively like that?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
said it aggressively like that.
All in my
You might
face.
want to hit up
We need
HR.
to keep them on your team. No, sometimes
Yeah.
it be like that. You need that aggression to make you
It
do
was
what you're supposed to
aggressive.
do to let it go. You know,
It
It
probably
was
comes from a
aggressive.
really good place.
Did it?
I feel like it could. I feel like it could.
I
Sounds
feel
like
like
it
it's being
does.
picked up on. Anywho,
Is that
I
an oxymoron?
mhm.
No.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think that we I think when you have it, it's important to have people around you to tell
Mhm.
you your cup is empty. What are you doing? Because you can't see it. You won't do it. If that makes sense. Because for me, my cup is empty often. But also, I'm beginning to realize that when my cup is empty, I have to stop pouring.
Hmm.
It took me a long time to recognize that. And I don't know the pinpoint. I think the pinpoint for me was it began to hurt.
Mm.
Mm.
Empty
Mm.
cup.
Okay. Mm. All right. All right.
Before it was kind of like, you remember that baby bottle? You had the little,
Yeah,
the
man. Yeah, the little magic. It's called Magic Bottle. My baby
yeah,
got some. Yeah, 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 yeah.
it was empty in real life, but it looked full.
Okay, analogy. Come on, Sumner.
Okay, first of all, I knew
Okay,
exactly
go
what you were
ahead.
talking about.
Focus, focus. So that was a cue the violin music part moment.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I had the magic bottle, because
Mm.
everybody else saw it as full,
Come
but in
on.
reality, it was empty. And so at some point, it got broken, and people began to see that it was empty.
Mm.
But only the people close to me, not everybody, because everybody else still wanted to see that magic cup and still wanted me to be full.
Man.
And then I began
I
to see what some true friendship was.
Mm.
know. I'm not.
I began to see what
She's so oily.
I'm.
I know.
Hallelujah, thank God. I began to see what loyalty was, what being genuine was, what those things were, and I began to see how those people filled my cup up.
Mm.
And I began to, and it really, in all honesty, it started when I decided to quit working and I went back and I was in school. And I remember going to church. It was when I was active at the particular church I was going to. And I remember after church, somebody said, "How you doing, Sister Jessica?" And I leaned over a pew and I grabbed the side and I said, "I can't do it no more."
Mm.
And I just
Mm.
began to cry. And the women of that church got around me and they prayed. And at that moment, my cup was empty, dry, probably had dust in it.
Mm.
Mm.
And I could do
Cobwebs and
nothing.
everything.
Look, I could do nothing to fill it back up. Nothing. I didn't have a prayer. I didn't have a nothing in me. I was done. I was tired. I was wore out. I couldn't pray. I couldn't ask God. I couldn't ask my mama. I didn't know who to ask because I wasn't sure who was loyal, who was genuine. I didn't have nothing left, but
Mm.
God knew exactly what I needed. And then women of God stood around me and they poured into me.
Mm.
Mm.
And I think, the more I think about it, that's what it is when my cup is empty and I look at somebody, I look at Nisha, I look at Tiff, I look at Quita, I look at those people in my lives and I say, my cup is empty. I don't even gotta say nothing. Hold on. I ain't gotta say it.
I love it.
I ain't even got to say it to the people in your life who's loyal to you, who's genuine to you, who know who you are. You don't even have to say those words. They know your cup is empty and they speak it into you. However they speak it, whether it's, girl, let's go to Donnell's for dinner tonight. Whether it's meet me up here and let's have a drink. Whether it's let me come over real quick. It doesn't matter. And I think that my only advice is to put people around you who genuinely love you and care for you. Because you can't fill it up by yourself. I can't say enough and I can't express to people enough. We are not sitting here to do this by ourselves. We're not sitting here to do this by ourselves. And I have said that to my clients. I have said that to my, is some food in there, warm you up that food from yesterday. I have said that,
Mama.
I have said that to people that I currently work with. You are not meant to do this by yourself. That's why I'm here. That's why we're here. We're here to help you. If I can't do nothing else, let me get your baby to school every day. That's one less thing you got to be concerned about. One less thing you have to be worried about. You can have it all.
So they just, right? You can have it all.
Right.
Okay. So wait, so with McKinney-Vento, not backtracking, just asking, you say, let me help you get your baby to school. Do they pick them up in front of their house?
Yes.
We have cars.
Like doorstep?
Vehicles. It's like vehicles. They don't have to go to a bus.
Oh, like an Uber situation.
Kind of like an Uber situation. Yeah, they'll come to the house, take them to school. After school, the car will be there, and then take them right back home. Period.
That's dope.
It is.
That way I don't feel embarrassed, like just
the car is
getting into a Z trip, getting into a Z trip or a taxi.
Yeah, and it's not
yellow.
It's an unmarked vehicle.
They feel real special. They think they got their own thing.
Yeah, like their own little personal vehicle. So yeah,
I
it's
can
pretty
see that.
dope.
I can see that.
But I want to jump in real quick. We talked about
I know it's helpful.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just noticed my.
You can push mute.
Where's mute?
There's a mute button somewhere there.
Yeah.
If you push mute, then
he good.
Okay. But no, I wanted to talk about like really having the passion and the heart for this work. Just working with people, wanting to help people, and it just some people it truly just comes natural. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like my mother worked in the helping industry, if you will, in social services my whole life. That's all I saw growing up. She worked in childcare. She worked for what was it, KBC. She just did different things. She was a date program director. Like that's what she did. That's all I knew, right? And it's something that comes natural to me. Like my first job was working at a summer camp. Like I never did the whole fast food thing because I've always worked with. I mean, no.
Oh, you did fast food? I never did fast food.
But no.
My first job was Peppermint Nursery, $5.25 an hour.
Listen, wow. But no, I've always worked in the helping industry, like, because it just comes natural to me. It's never something I had to, like, work hard for. Like, it just came natural to me. And that's probably because that's what I saw. It's just who I am. And to do this type of work, you really have to have a passion to do it properly, I should say. Because there's people in this work that
do it for the paycheck.
They're in it for the
I hope they're not doing it for the paycheck.
Most that's how I know y'all love your job.
Man, you got. I mean,
is
you
that a Stanley Cup?
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Sorry about
that. No, ma'am. What is it? I don't know what it is. It's
okay. Sorry about that.
It's cute.
I'm back.
No, but I mean, you have to love this type of work, you know, because you're working with the people. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah,
I had a job some years back. I worked for motor vehicle. A lot of people know that I worked for motor vehicle for 3 years.
That was you that took the tag.
When people would say to me, "I can't believe you do that. You working with the public." And for me, that job was not hard because I'm talking to people. I'm like interacting with people every day, getting them what they need. You know what I'm saying?
Still like a service,
still a service, you know. But I didn't have an attitude. I dealt with people who were pissed, but guess what? I calmed them down because I'm like, hey, you know, you just don't have the paperwork you need. But if you just get this and this, you can come right back up. You don't gotta wait in line. Like it's all about how you interact with people, and you have to be a certain type of person to do that type of work. So for me, it just comes natural, you know. So that I love what I do. Like I just love it.
I mean, I do too. I can agree with you. I'm a servant in a different era, in a
Oh,
different
for sure.
ring.
Yeah.
You know, you guys work with. I mean, I work with families too.
You
So
do?
I'm a genealogist.
You do?
That's that's
That's
that's
scary.
my that's my thing. Yeah, I'm a photographer, I'm a videographer, but in real life I'm a genealogist. I've been doing that for like 20 years,
For sure.
and working with families, like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, that's a different level of care, that's a different level of respect that you would have to have, and love and compassion and understanding, you know, about society and social
Mhm.
work. And I mean,
Right.
I'm not a psychologist by any means, but I do understand a lot of the things that attribute to the reasons and the whys.
For sure.
I just wanted to feel included because y'all was talking about how y'all servants and stuff, and so I just
You
wanted to
irritate.
like
But no,
plug
you
that.
do a good
So
thing. You really do. And honestly, even when you do pictures, you bringing folks together because you making people feel good with the pictures you do and the videos you do. You making people feel good,
okay, I can see
and
that.
you're doing a service for
That's a
that.
service. That's a
And that's
service.
something you
Absolutely.
love
That
and you
Sumner
do.
documentary was a service.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay,
Sumner
you
doc.
watched that? Hold on, wait, you watched that?
Absolutely, want me to watch it.
I tell people in H, I tell everybody to watch it. I tell them that it should be a part of human resource when they get hired. That it should be a
Yeah.
part
Listen,
of the hire.
oh, I didn't think about the hiring part, but I was thinking
Oh,
about we had a conversation. I wanted all the eighth graders, the incoming eighth graders at Sumner Academy
oh,
to,
that'd
like,
be
I would, it's a 2 hour film, but I would re-edit it down to maybe like 30 minutes just
yeah,
so
that'd be
they could
dope.
get the gist of it. But I think
That'd be
every incoming eighth grader needs to know why their halls are orange and black, why, you know, who this was,
Absolutely.
because that was the reason I did the documentary. Because I was, believe it or not, I was one of those black people that didn't have big mama or auntie, uncles. I didn't have anybody who went to Sumner, so I knew nothing about Sumner High School. When I say nothing, I went
dope.
to Sumner Academy, but I didn't know there was a school before that. That was
Oh,
the reason.
oh.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew a lot of I even knew the reson why Sumner High School existed.
Wow.
But the documentary,
Yeah.
well, first of all, it was so many people on there that I remember, and my mom really enjoyed it, and she knew a lot of
Oh.
people also.
I mean, of course, you know, this year is the get to know, get to grow type of thing. You know,
Sure.
I plan on being more intentional. I told everybody this is my last year in my 30s. I ain't taking no shows.
Okay.
Yeah, like that,
I mean,
like that.
turn up then, you know.
I
I'm
mean, no, seriously, all year for the next 12 months. This is it.
40. I acted a whole fool. Um, I
Okay.
can't see it. I had lost some weight. I'm gonna have to send you a picture.
Oh
I
yeah,
had,
she was snatched.
Okay.
She
Okay.
was snatched.
Okay.
but I mean, I was man, look, God is amazing. You
Hey,
know, in my
that's
20s,
be those times where you can't even say
look,
nothing, but you just stop dead sentence and be like, God is amazing.
let me tell you, because I had cancer a couple times in my 20s, and
What?
while I was
The
pregnant,
survivor.
Who are you? I told you I didn't know you.
girl, a product of the Almighty. Hallelujah. Thank you, God.
Hey man, won't he do
No
it every
order.
time?
Just
It's just, I mean, I can't uh I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think sometimes I look back at my life and I'd be like, well, it does some things, but I can't discount any piece of it. I can't, because I wouldn't be, even through all the trials and tribulations, the things that I've gone through, it could have always been worse. I didn't experience a lot of things other people did when I was a child or when I grew
Mhm.
up, or different things. But I even briefly decided to be married. We don't talk about that though. And
That's for the next topic.
yeah, we don't talk
Ooh,
about that time.
Episode 17.
listen,
Look,
on down. We'll bring her back.
Right.
Back.
God has been amazing, but I count every blessing. I love what I do. I love helping people.
And it shows, like you can tell who really enjoys it. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
one thing to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? A lot
Mm.
of people aren't doing what they supposed to be
Mm.
doing,
They don't know
or
their purpose.
they don't know their purpose. You know what I'm saying? I can say honestly, for me, I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing as far as specifically, but I know I'm supposed to be helping people. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
Like
Same here.
I don't know what I quote unquote want to be when I grow up, but
I don't either.
I know I'm supposed to be helping people. You know what I'm saying? So as long as I'm
Amen.
helping people, I'm happy because that's just who I
Yeah.
am. Like
Because
I'm
we
not.
left out y'all's job.
What's up?
We didn't. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We can't. I'm a.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So very specifically, the reason why there's 2 extra staff members now is because they work with the unaccompanied high school
Oh,
kids. We didn't even.
Oh, we were going to get back to that.
Yeah, we
You
didn't
put a pin in that.
Yeah,
You put a pin.
we put a pin
Cue
in the
the
hub thing.
cue
We
the pin sound effects.
we boop.
Okay,
So
great.
they work with the unaccompanied high school kids. So those are the kids that actually bounce around from house to house, or they might be stable-ish, but they're living without a parent or guardian. And so before I had anybody to help me, there was nobody to go into the buildings to actually work with the social workers and the staff to help better identify the unaccompanied youth. And so now that's what they do. And it is amazing. And our numbers have tripled of the unaccompanied youth that are actually in buildings. It used to be 1 or 2. Now we usually have 3, 5, 4, 6, 7. Like it's way more kids identified and able to make it through the graduation. One of the babies actually just graduated a semester early.
Okay, turn up.
And so that's what that's like very specifically amongst other things that I try to delegate. They go into the high schools and they're there twice a week. And the kids, and this is the thing, they just need to know that somebody's gonna be there on Tuesday at 9. Even if they don't need nothing, they just need, oh, you actually showed up.
Right.
Right.
We're
Just
that
to pop in the office or
consistency.
wherever y'all sitting at or whatever.
Yeah, we're that consistent person in them
Important.
Yeah, the unaccompanied youth, because they don't have people. They don't have people who are. A lot of them don't have people who are consistent. So we just try to be consistent.
So that's what they do. Yeah.
I worked with a like a program also, and that was the reason why I really wanted to be hands-on with the program. So I can be that consistent face. I know a lot of teenagers, if you will, they have, a mama has a friend that come in and out the house, or daddy got, what I mean? There's a person, but very rare do they have an adult that they can trust that is consistent or consistent. I mean, so I think what you do is very important as far as consistency. It matters.
So that was something we didn't, and I was gonna say I promise you I'm gonna be done after this because it's important. People talk about homelessness, they don't understand the definition of homelessness. The way it is defined by HUD is different than the way that it is defined by McKinney-Vento, even though they're both federal entities. And the reason why it makes such a difference is that HUD gets all the money. So a family, the way HUD filters down money is through different things like the CLC, the continuum of care, and different things like that. But you have to qualify under the way HUD defines homelessness. And if you don't qualify under that, then it could be an issue. And you can't get all the services that you offer it. So it's just an intricate system and trying to maneuver that.
Yeah.
And so it makes it
different. I mean, because when I think of homeless, that's why I'm like a real homeless teenager. Like when they leave the high school, they literally about to go sit in somebody's car, somebody's parking lot.
See, and that's what people think. Yeah. These kids are resilient. You know what I'm saying? They gonna find somewhere to stay. They're gonna find somewhere to stay with. So our job is to make sure they're identified. You know what I'm saying? Like usually those teenagers, they'll have somebody in that school that they'll talk to, and that's usually how we find out, and normally what I do is if a social worker tells me, or a counselor or whoever in the school tells me, hey,
Johnny's roaming the hall.
Yeah, we think this kid is homeless. Can you talk to him? I'm going to say, well, do they talk to you? Do they trust you? And if they say yes, I meet the kid with that person.
Okay.
To make them more comfortable, because
a trusted person present.
Yeah, it can be. If I meet with them by myself, they're not going to talk to me. I mean, 9 times out of 10,
Probably
they're not
not.
gonna talk to me. So
No.
I would rather them be in the same room with somebody they're comfortable with, so I can get the information for them.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
complete sense. Yeah.
So that was the last little tidbit. Sorry.
I love it. I really appreciate your time more than anything.
No
Like
problem.
just taking time and getting all dolled up for us, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
For like 2 days.
Yeah. Okay. But no, I think it's important that people just hear from folks in the community and just from good positive people who are doing things, who are doing positive things, who are doing good things. So I thought it was important that we bring you on. And I think we'll probably bring you back at some point just to talk about other stuff because I know you like to talk about a lot of different things. So
A
you
lot
do.
of things.
You will.
Zoom in, take a look, make sure. She
Shadow.
will. Yeah, she gotta say hey to her boy son, her baby son, the big boy,
Yeah, he's been at daycare.
the big boy.
Yeah, he been there all day. Hot shadow. Hot shadow.
Yes,
Here.
at least he ain't trying to attack you. If I say hi to my dog, he won't let me stop, and then he's gonna keep. Yeah.
Dog people.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. I'm really not gonna hold you all day. We really need like a slogan, one and out or something. I don't know, but yeah.
We
Okay,
do.
that was whack.
It's still early.
We
It's still
do.
early. We still
Yeah.
trying to figure this thing out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We trying to figure it out, but
Well,
we appreciate you.
It's been fun, and we'll definitely be bringing you back for something. I gotta think of what else we're going to talk to you about because we didn't got the professional side, but we gonna need the other side to come out too.
That side, that part, when I get to know you for our second date. You know what I'm saying? You
We trying to
know,
look
you
away.
know. I'm just saying for the second day. Right now we still in the courting phase. You know, I'm still how many kids you got, what's your name, what school did you go to? The courting phase. But the next time, I mean, you can only meet a person once. I'm just saying.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm just saying.
I'm available. She's
Hi,
so
Wifey.
Hello.
Hi, Tiff. I called her
Hi,
earlier.
Wife.
She was working.
Hi, Kamisha. Hi, Jessica.
Okay, hair.
What y'all talking about over here?
You got to check out the podcast.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I love
You
her.
have to check out
I
the
love her.
podcast. See what we talking
This is
about.
why I love her.
Oh, Jessica, cute. Look at
Ain't she
you.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
We cute around these parts.
Period.
Because I didn't look like this when I called you earlier, did I?
You did not.
Wait, what?
That's
I
why
mean, we
she-
appreciate you for coming, and we can't say that enough. And we will see you on the next few episodes down the line, so we can get to know you, the personal you, not the work you. We talked a lot about work, but I want to know what you do at home on the couch. So yeah, all right.
Make a blanket. It's somewhere around here. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate it. Don't go nowhere.
They coming out.
Don't go nowhere. Thanks.